A man who was once fifth in line to the British throne, now reduced to sneaking into his own home like a criminal avoiding the press. Prince Andrew has made his first secret visit to what insiders are calling his home in exile. Not the 30-room mansion he fought desperately to keep. Not the Grand Royal Lodge where he lived like the prince he believed he still was. But a modest cottage, tucked away in the remote corners of Sandringham Estate. A place where fallen royals go to disappear. This isn't just a move. It's a message. From King Charles to his brother, your time is over. Your presence is no longer wanted. Your exile is complete. This is the story of Andrew's secret journey to the place he never wanted to go. A journey that marks the end of everything he once was, and the beginning of a life in the shadows. To understand the weight of this moment, we need to remember what Andrew has lost. Royal Lodge, 30 rooms of Georgian splendor, 90 acres of pristine grounds. A home fit for the Queen Mother herself, who lived there for half a century. The mansion where Andrew spent £7.5 million of his own money, creating what he believed would be his legacy. For 2 decades, this was his kingdom, his refuge, the last tangible proof that he still mattered in the royal hierarchy. He fought tooth and nail to keep it. When King Charles first suggested he downsize to Frogmore Cottage, Andrew refused. When Charles cut his allowance, Andrew searched desperately for ways to fund his lifestyle. When the pressure mounted to leave, he dug in his heels. I have a 75-year lease, he reportedly told family members. I'm not going anywhere. It lasted months. Charles controlled the purse strings, and he slowly tightened the noose. No more annual allowance. No more security funding. No more financial support of any kind. Andrew was left with a choice: find millions to maintain Royal Lodge on his own, or surrender. But the twist? He wouldn't be moving to Frogmore Cottage after all. That was never truly on the table. Charles had a different destination in mind. Somewhere more remote, more isolated, more fitting for a prince in disgrace. Sandringham Estate, 20,000 acres of Norfolk countryside. The late Queen's favorite residence, where she spent every Christmas, where she found peace away from the demands of London. It's beautiful, yes, but it's also remote, isolated, far from the center of power, far from public life, far from everything that matters in the royal world. And somewhere on this vast estate sits a cottage. Not grand, not palatial, just a residence. Reports suggest it's significantly smaller than Royal Lodge, perhaps a fraction of the size. Some sources claim it's Wood Farm, the cottage where Prince Philip spent his final years in quiet retirement. Others suggest it's a different property entirely, perhaps even smaller, even more obscure. The exact location has been kept deliberately vague. The palace isn't announcing this. There are no press releases, no official statements. This is being handled with the kind of secrecy usually reserved for security threats. Because make no mistake, this isn't just a housing arrangement. This is exile. King Charles has effectively banished his younger brother to the countryside, away from Windsor, away from London, away from the heart of the monarchy. The message is unmistakable. Andrew is no longer part of the working family. He's not even part of the visible family. He's been relegated to the shadows, expected to live out his remaining years in obscurity. And according to the latest reports, Andrew has just made his first secret visit to survey his new reality. Sources close to the royal family report that Andrew traveled to Sandringham recently, under the cover of discretion. No media were alerted. No official schedule was published. Just a quiet journey from Royal Lodge to Norfolk. Imagine that drive. The prince who once flew military helicopters in combat, who partied with billionaires, who walked red carpets around the world, now driving through the English countryside to see the small cottage that represents his fallen status. Was Sarah Ferguson with him? We don't know. She's been his constant companion through this nightmare. The ex-wife who never truly left, who stood by him when everyone else turned away. What did Andrew think as he approached the cottage? Did he compare it to the grandeur he was leaving behind? Did he count the rooms and feel the sting of how far he'd fallen? According to insiders, Andrew viewed the property but hasn't fully committed to the move yet. He's reportedly still hoping for some kind of reprieve, some way to maintain his dignity. But reality is closing in fast. The lease on Royal Lodge is being terminated. The Crown Estate has made that clear. Charles has drawn his line in the sand. The days of Andrew living in a mansion at the family's expense are over. This visit to Sandringham wasn't about choice. It was about accepting the inevitable. And for a man who has spent his entire life believing rules don't apply to him, this moment must feel like a death. To understand this exile, we need to understand the relationship between Charles and Andrew. They were never close. Charles, the heir, always carried the weight of duty. Andrew, the spare, enjoyed the privileges without the pressure. Where Charles was serious and studious, Andrew was brash and entitled. Charles reportedly resented how their mother favored Andrew, how Andrew got away with behavior that Charles never could, how Andrew lived lavishly while Charles preached about environmental responsibility and fiscal restraint. But it was always just sibling rivalry, uncomfortable family dynamics, nothing catastrophic. When the allegations emerged, when Andrew's name was dragged through the mud, when the monarchy faced its worst scandal in decades, Charles's patience evaporated. He watched as Andrew gave that disastrous BBC interview, cringing at every tone-deaf response. He saw the damage to the institution he would one day lead. He made a decision. Andrew had to go. Even while the Queen was alive, Charles was reportedly pushing for Andrew's exile. Her Majesty resisted, torn between her duty as monarch and her love as a mother. She stripped Andrew of his titles, but allowed him to keep Royal Lodge. But when she died, Charles became king. And kings don't compromise. The eviction from Royal Lodge wasn't just about money or practicality. It was personal. It was Charles saying to Andrew, "You embarrassed this family, you damaged this institution, and now you'll pay the price." Sandringham isn't just a new home. It's a punishment, a reminder of who holds the power now. What will Andrew's life look like in Sandringham? No more strolling through Windsor's grand corridors. No more hosting his daughters in a palace fit for royalty. No more pretending he's still the Duke of York who matters. Instead, picture this: a small cottage, perhaps 5 or 6 bedrooms at most. Modest grounds, nothing compared to 90 acres. A location so remote that even if Andrew wanted to venture out, there's nowhere to go. No royal duties to fill his days. No patronages to visit. No public appearances. Just emptiness. He'll wake up in the shadow of the estate where his mother spent her happiest Christmases, where the family gathers every year for the holidays, where working royals come and go, carrying on the business of monarchy while Andrew watches from the sidelines. Will he be invited to family gatherings? Perhaps, if he keeps his head down. But he'll never again sit at the head table. Never again be introduced with the fanfare his title once commanded. Sarah Ferguson will likely join him. She has nowhere else to go, and despite everything, she's remained loyal. Together, they'll live in this exile, two people the world has largely forgotten, waiting for time to erase their relevance completely. Sources suggest Andrew is devastated. He reportedly feels betrayed by Charles, abandoned by the institution he served, punished beyond what he believes he deserves. When news of Andrew's secret visit to Sandringham leaked, the reaction was swift. On social media, the comments poured in. Some showed sympathy. He's still a human being. This seems cruel. Others were less forgiving. He brought this on himself. He's lucky he still has a roof over his head at all. Royal commentators noted the symbolism. This is King Charles showing he's a different kind of monarch, one expert said. He's willing to make the tough decisions his mother couldn't make. Others saw it differently. This is a family turning on one of their own. Yes, Andrew made terrible choices, but is complete exile really the answer? The truth is, most of the public doesn't care where Andrew lives. They just want him gone from public view. The allegations, the settlement, the constant reminders of his association with Epstein. People are tired of it. Sandringham gives them what they want. Andrew, out of sight and out of mind. But there's a darker question lurking beneath the surface. If Andrew can be exiled this easily, what does it say about the monarchy? Is this justice? Or is it just about protecting the institution's image? And what happens when the next scandal emerges? Will Charles exile them too? Is this the new normal for royals who step out of line? The monarchy has survived for over 1,000 years by adapting. This is Charles's adaptation. Swift, decisive, ruthless. Somewhere in the Norfolk countryside, in a cottage whose exact location remains a secret, Prince Andrew is planning his future. Or perhaps, accepting that he has no future at all. The secret visit to Sandringham was just the beginning. Soon, he'll make the final move. The boxes will be packed. The 30 rooms of Royal Lodge will be emptied. The life he fought to preserve will officially end. And when he settles into his new home in exile, what then? Will he fade quietly into obscurity, as Charles clearly hopes? Will he write a memoir, as some have speculated, telling his side of the story one last time? Or will he simply disappear, becoming a footnote in royal history? The prince who fell from grace and never got back up? One thing is certain: the Andrew we once knew, the war hero, the playboy prince, the queen's favorite son, is gone forever. What remains is a man in exile, a brother banished by a king, a father who must explain to his daughters why their childhood home no longer belongs to them. The gates of Royal Lodge will close behind him for the last time. The gates of Sandringham will open to receive him. And somewhere in between, a prince will lose himself entirely. This isn't just the end of Andrew's story. It's a warning to every royal watching. Step out of line, and you too can be erased. The exile has begun, and there's no coming back.